Dear students, today we shall discuss the next topic, that is locomotor organelles and locomotion in protozoa. Let us start with the locomotor organelles. Those organelles which are required by the protozoans for locomotion are called locomotor organelles. In protozoa, locomotor organelles may be a pseudopodia, flagella, cilia, and contractile structure of the pellicle called the myonemes. The seat of locomotion lies in ectoplasm. If you look at the below cell, the amoeba, you can see the cytoplasm has two divisions. The outer division is called as ectoplasm, which in diagram is seen as a clear zone, and the inner one where you can see many granules and other cytoplasmic organelles. This is called as endoplasm. So, seat of locomotion lies in the ectoplasm, since locomotor organelles either arise from the ectoplasm or present in the ectoplasm. Let us discuss first of all the pseudopodia. You know that pseudo means false, podia means feet or foot. So these are the pseudopodia, or the false foot, which are developed by the amoeba. They are called the pseudopodia. Because they are temporary structure, and pseudopodia are present in the Sarcodina group of the phylum Protozoa. So because they are the false structures, so they are called the pseudo. Pseudo means false because they are temporary. They are not permanent, and they are found by the streaming flow of the cytoplasm. Say for example, in this case, cytoplasm has flown to this direction. As a result, a bulge has emerged at the anterior end and forming pseudopodia. This is temporary structure. This will go away. Another, then the cytoplasm may move in another direction. So pseudopodia will develop in another direction. So this is why it is a temporary structure. The already formed pseudopodia may go away and new may be formed by the streaming flow of the cytoplasm. The pseudopodia are of following four types. Number one, lobopodia. As the name itself indicates, lobe-like pseudopodia are called the lobopodia. They have the end, broad and rounded end. They are present in the amoeba. These are composed of both ectoplasm as well as endoplasm. So here, ectoplasm and endoplasm, both the division of the cytoplasm are present. Then the next type of the pseudopodia are called the reticulopodia or rhizopodia or mixopodia, as I have shown in this diagram here. They are filament-like and they are branched also. If you look at this, you may see that a filament may give rise to many branches also, and these branches are interconnected also. They are connected with one another profusely, thus forming a network around it. Such type of pseudopodia are present in Globigerina. Then the third type of pseudopodia are called the philopodia. You can see here, these are the philopodia. Philopodia are the filament-like, they are filamentous. They are usually tapering from base to the point of the tip. So they are broader at the base and then start tapering to the tip of the pseudopodia or the philopodia. They are composed of ectoplasm only. They don't have endoplasm in this region. Sometimes they may branch and form a complex network as we have seen in previous one. These type of philopodia are present in the euglypha. Then you have the fourth type of pseudopodia, the exopodia. Exopodia, you can see these are the exopodia. They are more or less straight pseudopodia radiating from the surface of the body. If you look at like the radius of a circle, they are radiating out, and all these are the straight. Each exopodia containing the central axis. You can see this one is the central axis of each exopodia. uh, Central axis is rod like. This is covered with the granules. If you look at this, they are the granules which are present over there. And the cytoplasm present around them is adhesive type of cytoplasm which can adhere to the substratum, thus uh, helping the animal to make a grip with the substratum so that it can move. These type of pseudopodia called the exopodia are present in actinocephalium and actinopteryx. Now, then we have the flagella. Flagella, you can say this is the euglena, where you can see the flagella is coming out. Again, this is the electron micrograph diagram, electron microscopic diagram, where you can see the flagella. Flagella is a long whip-like structure, you can say. Flagella are primarily organelles of locomotion, and secondly, they perform the function of food capturing also. Typically, a flagellum is made up of axoneme. So this portion is axoneme. Basically, in this diagram, you can see all this is a axoneme. What is present inside the cell is not axoneme. Axoneme is a portion present outside the cell, forming a whip-like structure. Axoneme are in turn made up of two central fiber, longitudinal central fiber. You can see one and then the two. In the cross section, you see one and two. These are the two central fibers. They are covered over by the inner sheath. You can see this is the inner sheath, or you can see this is the inner sheath which is encircling both the central fibers. Then there may be a present a ring of the nine longitudinal fibers, peripheral microfibers, you can say. So this is one, this is two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and each is present in a pair. So you have is two central fibers, then the ring of nine peripheral microfibrils. Then there another sheath, the outer sheath is present, which is covering all of them. You can say over here, this is the outer sheath. This diagram just shows that how the central fibers, then the peripheral fibers are present in a long flagellum, which is shown over here. This is again a cross section where again uh, the diagram in the diagram I have tried to show you how the central fibers, then a inner sheath, then the ring of peripheral fibers, then the outer sheath is located. In between the outer ring of peripheral fibers and two central fibers are present the spokes or the radial lamellae. These are the spokes, or you can say they are the radial lamellae. In addition to these, one subfiber or microfiber of each peripheral fibers may bear two projections called the arms. So peripheral fibers are there. So you can see all these nine are in pairs. One microfiber of each peripheral fiber bear two projections called the arms. This is labeled over here. Again, you can see these are the two arms. This is the spoke which is present between the peripheral ring of peripheral fiber and two central fibers. Then the portion below this, which is present normally within the cell, is called as basal granule, also called as kinetosome or called as blepharoplast. The kinetosome may be joined to the nucleus by a rhizoplast. So within the cell, this portion may get joined with the nucleus with the help of the rhizoplast. This portion, blepharoplast or the basal body, what you can say, is derived from the centrioles. So if you know and if you remember the structure of the centriole always have the triplet peripheral microfibers present in a twisted manner. That is why the cross section of this basal body is showing the triplets of the microfibers because it is this portion is derived from the centriole. Then flagellum also bears very fine and flexible processes, the mastigonemes. You can see over here, fine structure, hair-like structure present on it, called the mastigonemes. Mastigoneme constitute the so-called flimmer or ciliary flagellum. So because it looks like as the flagellum is having small cilia present on it, so it is called as ciliar flagellum or flimmer. Number and arrangement of flagella vary in Mastigophora. Mastigophora group of the protozoan bears or those organisms in the phylum Protozoa which bears the flagellum. So, how many flagellum will be present in the Mastigophora and what will be the arrangement? It varies from one organism to another, and normally you can see 1 to 8 or more flagellum may be present. Normally, free living species have usually one or two, while in parasitic species, the number ranges from one to many. So it means more number of flagellum may be seen in the parasitic mastigophorans, whereas the less number of flagellum may be seen in the free living mastigophorans. Depending upon the arrangement of mastigonemes, that in what fashion these cilia are present over the flagella, you may have the five types of flagellum. Number one, stichonemata. A1, this A figure is showing stichonemata, where the mastigonemes are present on one side only. You can see, okay, side type of flagellum are present in the eulina. The next type is the pentonematic. This one, pentonematic, where the mastigonemes are present in two rows. Okay, such type of flagellum are present in the paranema. Then you may have the third type, acronematic, where the end of the flagellum may get divided into terminal filaments. So this is the cell body, then the flagellum is coming, and then you can see from here onward a very tapering, very thin structure is coming out from the flagellum, which is called as terminal filament. Such type of flagellum are called as acronematic. They are present in Chlamydomonas and the volvox. Then you may have the pentachromatic, where besides having the axonemes present on the side of the major flagellum, you may have a terminal filament again. So mastigonemes on the sides and then the terminal filament. Such type of flagellum is called as pentachromatic. Then you may have a very simple flagellum where you may not find mastigonemes present on its side. Such type of flagellum are present in Chylomona